Good day, everyone. I am Mary Suzette Himudanyar. I'm together with Divine Kaga. We are here to discuss to you the anti-oppressive and anti-discriminatory approach. But disclaimer, I will not be able to show my face discussing this topic because currently I'm not at home. I'm at the hospital. So please bear with me, guys. Thank you. So back to the topic. Our objectives at the end of this discussion is first to be able to know and understand anti-oppressive and anti-discriminatory approach. Second is to have a knowledge on the principles of anti-discriminatory and anti-oppressive practice, including a sound understanding of cultural competence. And third, to identify the rules and functions of social worker in different approach. But before we jump into our topic, let us take a grasp on this quote from Connor Fronta saying that race, gender, religion, sexuality, we are all people, and that's it. So by the end of this discussion, we will able to fully understand what this quote will be all about. So anti-oppressive approach. So anti-oppressive approaches are concerned with the implementation of social justice. They aim to challenge the structure of society and the use of power where they are being used to maintain some groups in disadvantaged positions, and this is rooted in the notions of improving the quality of life and well-being of individuals, groups, and communities, and the intrinsic value of a diverse society. So, anti-oppressive is oppression is the unjustified or the inflicting hardships and constraints felt by the subordinate group. So, anti-oppressive approach is more on the implementation of social justice, meaning the pagpapatupad ng katarungang panlipunan or to have equal rights sa tanang tao sa society because we believe in the worth and dignity of an individual. So, anti-oppressive approach is more on having or implementing to have a humane society. So, intrinsic value is more on digging up on the kanang real value of the quality of life for all people. So, anti-oppressive is the concept of power and how groups use power to achieve the mutual aims, underpin the ideas of oppression, and anti-oppressive practice seeks to redistribute power by challenging structures and championing rights. So, diba, our society gikan pagyud sa una o hantod karon dili jud nato malikayan ang like na ay discrimination and oppression. So this approach is more on having like we can enjoy the rights of those people nga naabito nasad sila'y power. So oppression was translated by Barker as the social act of placing severe restrictions on an individual, group, or institution, typically a government or a political organization that is in power places. So, these restrictions formally or covertly on oppressed groups so that they may be exploited and less to able to compete with the other social groups. So, the oppressed individuals or group is developed devalued, exploited and deprived of privilege by the individual or group who has more power. So, the source of oppression can be either structural or, example, arising as the result of the way systems and process operate. So, an individual, example, as a rising result, it can lead to a prejudice or action. So, users of children's social care services are predominantly from groups that would be considered to be socially disadvantaged, and such as anti-oppressive practice is an important practice capable for all social workers as it seeks to counter oppression experienced by individual or groups. So it is based on a specific set of practice values which include empowerment, partnership, and minimal intervention, which states that social workers will aim to promote social justice and the values of compassion and respect that underpin social work. So, according to Barker, anti-oppressive practice is a dynamic process on the changing complex of patterns of social relations. On the other hand, Clafford 1995 uses the term anti-oppressive as to indicate an explicit evaluative position that constructs social divisions, especially race, class, gender, disability, sexual orientation, and age. So, as matters of broad social structure, the same time as being personal and organizational issues. So, di ba, bisag sa workplace nato, naanay kanang, what we call this, kanang, marabitog, dili kayo, in terms of decision, like, perminti na magiging nato siya ma-encounter nga in terms of decision making, mas weak lagi daw kuno ang girls kay mas weak sila og kanang sa decision making, whereas ang boys is more stronger sila in terms of decision making. So anti-oppressive approach, wala o nato na siya nga disparity, like anyone can be anyone, diba? So it looks at the use and abuse of powers not only in relation to individual or organizational behavior, which may be overtly or covertly or indirectly racist, classist, sexist, and so on. So, but also in relation to broader social structures, for example, the health, the educational, political, and economic, media and cultural systems, and their routine provision of services and rewards for powerful groups of local as well as the national and international levels. These factors impinge on people's life stories in unique ways that have to be understood in the social historical complexity. So for example, in health services, anti-oppressive approaches ensure that everyone has equal access to health care. So this approach challenges institutional practices that cause health disparities, especially for marginalized groups. So anti-oppressive health care aims to provide care that is sensitive to the needs of diverse communities, and it offers a culturally responsive health care that is tailored to meet the unique needs of every patient. So this approach ensures that people have the access to the care they need regardless of their cultural background, socioeconomic status, or in health conditions. So In social services, the anti-oppressive approach ensures that social welfare is accessible to all. So this approach challenges social inequalities by advocating for social and economic justice. So it addresses the multiple barriers that prevent individuals and families from accessing the necessary support that they need. So social welfare programs, so we have this, everyone we are aware of these programs and we adapt it, and with the use of anti-oppressive approach, these programs became more responsive to the needs and to have a diverse community. So they provide a safety net for those who are vulnerable and marginalized in the society. So with Clifford's definition, there is a clear understanding of the use and abuse of power within the relations of on personal, family, community, organizational, and structural levels. So these levels are not mutually inclusive, that they are interconnected, shaping and determining social reality. So Clifford, informed by the writings of Black feminists and the other non-dominant perspectives, so he formulated the following anti-oppressive principles which provide the foundation for social work assessment that is theoretized and empowering. So first is the social difference. So social difference arises because of disparities of power between the dominant and the dominated social groups. So the major the divisions are described in terms of race, gender, class, sexual preference, disability, and age. So other differences such as those of religion, region, mental health, and single parenthood exist and interact with the major divisions, making the understanding and experience of oppression with a complex matter. So the anti-oppressive approach has significant impact on society by promoting equality, justice, and social change. So it challenges power imbalances in society, promoting democratic values and inclusive practices, and its impact can be seen in various sectors, including, again, in education, health, and in social services. So next is the linking personal and political. So personal biographies are placed within a wider social context, and the individual's life situation is viewed in relations to social systems such as the family, peer groups, organizations, and communities, and for example, the problems associated with aging are not solely due to the individual but should be understood in relation to the ageist ideology. So policies and practices that exist, the social environment in which the individual is located. So this approach values diversities and encourages collaboration, creating a stronger and more cohesive society. So it's essential that we have continued to support this approach in all areas of our lives to ensure that everyone has access to the necessary resources to achieve their full potential. Next, we have power. So power is a social concept which can be used to explore the public and private spheres of life. So according to Barker and Roberts, in practice, power can be seen to operate at the personal and structural level. So it is influenced by the social, cultural, economic, and the psychological factors. So all these factors need to be taken into account in any analysis of how individuals or groups gain differential access to resources and positions of power. So it's worth noting that it's not the only marginalized groups that benefit from the anti-oppressive approach, but society as a whole. When everyone has the equal access and is included in society, we create a stronger and more cohesive society. So, by challenging the power structure that oppress the individuals, we create a society that values and diversity, encourages collaboration. So, this in turn increases the potential for social innovation and economic growth for everyone. We have historical and geographical locations. So individual life experiences and events are placed within a specific time and place. So that these experiences are given meaning within the context of prevailing ideas, social facts, and cultural differences. So the anti-oppressive approach has an impact on our social change by promoting, again, democratic values. So this approach challenges power imbalances that exist in our society, and again, as I mentioned, it seeks to empower individuals and communities. So one significant impacts of anti-oppressive approach in education is it promotes inclusive educations, schools that adopt this approach encourage diversity and respect for differences. So anti-oppressive approach has a significant impact on society by challenging the status quo and promoting egalitarian values. So it's essential to understand the impact of the society of adapting anti-oppressive approach. Lastly, we have reflexivity and mutual involvement. So reflexivity is the continual consideration of how values, social difference, and power affect the interaction between individuals. So these interactions are able to understand not only the psychological terms but also as a matter of sociology, history, ethics, and politics. So the above principles relate to each other, so interconnecting and overlapping at all times, working from a perspective that is informed by anti-oppressive principles provides an approach that begins to match the complex issues of power, oppression, and powerlessness that determine the lives of the people who are the recipients of social care services. An understanding of these principles bring with a fundamental transformation in the relation that exists between the assessment of situation and the nature of the action that is required to challenge the existing state of affairs. So, the driving force of anti-oppressive is the act of challenging inequalities. Opportunities for change are created by the process of the challenges that are not always successful and are often painful for the person or group being challenged or challenging. So a challenge as it is at its best involves changes at the macro and micro level. So if anti-oppressive practice is to provide appropriate and sensitive services that are needs, it will have or it will drive somebody to lead rather than resource driven, and it has to be embodied. So, in conclusion, the anti-oppressive approach has a significant impact on the society by promoting equality, justice, and social change. That's all, and thank you.
I am Divine Ikaga and I will be discussing about anti-discriminatory approach. Anti-discriminatory practice at the core of social work values. It is an approach that seeks to reduce, undermine, or eliminate discrimination and oppression, remove the barriers that prevent people from accessing services. So, anti-discriminatory approach is an approach that aims to promote equality, diversity, and inclusion while challenging and eradicating discrimination. This approach recognizes that people can face discrimination and prejudices on the basis of various factors, such as their gender, race, ethnicity, religion, age, sexual orientation, and disabilities, among others. Anti-discriminatory approach seeks to ensure that everyone is treated fairly, regardless of their background or characteristics, and that they have access to the same opportunities and services. It involves identifying and challenging any practices, policies, or attitudes that um, perpetuate discrimination or inequality, and actively promoting diversity and inclusivity. So, anti-discriminatory approach is particularly important in contexts where discriminations and marginalizations are systematic, such as sa education, sa healthcare, sa employment and social services. It requires a commitment and ongoing learning, self-reflection, and action to create more equitable, just society. So, next slide is about Thompson's personal, cultural, social, or PCS model. One of the most influential models in social work from which to understand discrimination and the focus of anti-discriminatory practice is the PCS model. This model, defined by Professor Neil Thompson in 2005, links personal experience, beliefs, and attitudes with the wider social group and places it in the overall context of society. And the other side is that is an image of PCS analysis. So, PCS model or personal, cultural, structural model is a theoretical framework used to understand how personal, cultural, and social factors interact to shape an individual's experiences and sa mga behavior sa mga tao. The model was developed by Neil Thompson, a British social worker, educator, and author, and is commonly used in the fields of social work, counseling, and psychology. According to Thompson's PCS model, an individual's behavior is influenced by three interrelated factors, which is personal factors. The personal factors, these include an individual's personality, values, beliefs, attitude, and experience. And the cultural factors is these include the cultural norms, values, beliefs, and practices that shape an individual's identity and worldview. Social factors or structural factors, these include the social structures and systems that influence an individual's behavior, such as family, community, education, and government. The PCS model emphasizes the importance of understanding the interplay between these three factors when seeking to understand and address issues related to social justice, diversity, and equality. By recognizing the complex and interconnected nature of these factors, the PCS model can help practitioners and researchers develop more effective strategies for promoting positive change and social justice. The PCS model can be applied to a wide range of issues, including poverty, racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination and oppression. It emphasizes the need for a holistic and intersectional approach to understanding and addressing these issues. One of that considers the complex interplay between personal, cultural, and structural factors. Overall, the Thomson species model is a useful tool for social workers, educators, counselors, and other professionals who work with individuals and communities to promote social justice, diversity, and equality. So, the next slide is working with diversity. Working with diversity involves understanding and appreciating the differences that exist among people in terms in their race, ethnicity, culture, gender, sexual orientation, religion, age, abilities, and other characteristics. It is essential to embrace diversity in the workplace, makig halubilo mo sa uban nga tao nga kanang wala mo ay ginano nga mga pagpandaot or pagpangbuli sa lain-lain ninyo nga isigata. It is essential to society as a whole to promote exclusivity, creativity, and equality. Here are I have some tips on how to work with diversity. Learn about different cultures. Makig makigalubilo ka sa lain nga cultures para makabalo ka sa ilain nga cultures. Take the time to learn about the cultures of your colleagues or classmates. This can include attending cultural events or workshops, reading books or articles, or simply having conversations with people from different backgrounds. May kagalubilo ka sa imuhang mga friend nga lain-lain pod og culture, lain-lain pod og gender. Listen actively, be open to hearing others' perspectives and experience. Try to understand where they are coming from and what their concerns are. Avoid making assumptions or jumping to conclusions. Avoid stereotypes. Don't assume that people from a particular group are all the same or hold the same beliefs. Everyone is unique and has their own experiences and perspectives. Embrace the Embrace differences. Celebrate the differences that exist among people. Be open to learning from others and be willing to share your own experience and perspective. Be respectful. Show your respect for others by avoiding offensive language or behavior. Be mindful of cultural differences and be willing to adjust your behavior or language accordingly. Makig ano ka sa show ka sa imuhang respect kung unsa man gani ang ilahang ilahang beliefs or unsa ba na dira. Overall, working with diversity requires an open mind and a willingness to learn and grow. By embracing diversity, we can create a more inclusive and support environment for all. Okay, I have an example of diversity. Diversity is a workplace that has employees from different cultural and ethnic backgrounds. Kung naakay katrabaho nga, habare, kung naakay katrabaho nga, kanang lain-lain mo culture, kanang makighalubilo ka sa iyaha, kung lain sa siya nga gender, kung lain sa imong kailangan makighalubilo ka. A company might have employees who were born and raised in different countries and who speak different languages. In such in such a workplace, employees can bring their unique perspectives and experiences to the table, and the company can benefit from the diverse range of ideas and solutions that arise as a result. Additionally, employees may learn about different cultures, foods, languages, and traditions, which can help to create a more inclusive and respectful work environment. So second is considering culture and ethnicity. These are important aspects of diversity that can influence people's beliefs, values, behaviors, and attitudes. It is essential to recognize and respect the diversity of cultures and ethnicities that exist in society, and to appreciate the richness and complexity of these differences. The third is cultural competence. Cultural competence refers to the ability to understand, appreciate, and effectively interact with people from different cultures and backgrounds. It involves developing the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to work effectively with people who have diverse background, beliefs, and values. So the next slide is we have a equality. Equality focuses on creating a fairer society where all individuals can take part in and access the same opportunities. It is it is underpinned by a legal framework which places statutory duties on individuals. Um, Equality refers to treating all individuals or groups in the same way without taking into account any differences in their circumstances or needs. This approach assumes that everyone is starting from the same position and therefore requires the same treatment in order to achieve equal outcomes. However, this approach can be problematic because it fails to recognize that different groups or individuals may have different needs or may face different barriers to achieving equality. Treating everyone the same can actually result in further discrimination, as it may not account for the unique challenges faced by certain groups. For example, naay mag-CR nga transgender sa babae. Kay transgender man siya kailangan dili na to siya i-judge nganong nag-CR siya sa pambabae. Kailangan ang atong pagkuan sa iya is amura ra gyapon bae para dili ta maka-discriminate or makatapak sa lain nga tawo. A more effective approach is equity, which involves giving individuals or groups the support they need to overcome barriers and achieve equal outcomes. This approach recognizes that different individuals or groups may require different types of support to achieve equality, and that treating everyone the same is not always fair or effective. Equality is the principle that all individuals should be treated fairly and equality without discrimination. However, However, is achieving quality is not easy. Dili kaya sa uban, dili nila kaya nga kanang equality ang ilang pagtanaw sa uban kay as there are many factors that contribute to inequality such as systematic discrimination. It requires ongoing effort and dedication to create a society where everyone is treated with respect and dignity and has the opportunity to strive. And the last is diversity. Diversity literally means difference and is concerned with the range and variety of individuals and groups. It is often linked within social policy with differences in life chances and social inequalities arising from individual for group and characteristics. Diversity is all about recognizing, respecting others, and valuing differences among people. It encompasses a wide range of characteristics such as culture, education, and abilities, among others. In a diverse environment, people from different backgrounds are able to bring unique perspectives, ideas, and experiences to the table, which can lead to more innovation solutions, increased creativity, and better decision making. Diversity is not just about having from different backgrounds. It's also about creating an inclusive culture where everyone feels valued and supported, and where their contributions are recognized and respected. In essence, diversity is about promoting equality and, in conclusion, and recognizing that difference are strengths that can help us build a better society. And that's all. Thank you.